Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's actually been quite a few weeks since I've recorded a video. For those who have been watching, as the videos have released every Friday or Saturday on YouTube, thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching the videos on the channel. We've got a lot going on personally, so that's why I have not been capturing videos of new things, new unwrappings going on. I did have some time this weekend tonight, so tonight's just kind of be a reflection on some things, some thoughts. I really was scared powering up the 5150 and 61 combo. I may need to make some adjustments here. As I booted it up, it came up with the 301 error. So I powered it down, I reseated the keyboard connector and powered it back up, and everything was okay. So I'm hoping that was just a fluke. Often thinking about what I was going to do videos on. We've done videos on a lot of stuff. A lot of the Project Assistant, a lot of the IBM Assistant series. We've done Project Assistant, Filing Assistant. We've looked at Assistant Home Solutions. We've done Bumble Games. We've done Electric Desk. We've done Electric Poet. And I want to continue expressing my thanks and gratitude for the volunteers at Computer Reset and Sergio Partney for continuing to look for IBM things that I've been looking for until hopefully I can get down there this summer in August if everything lines up the way I need it to, time-wise and money-wise. So thinking about what we're going to look at tonight, I've always been intrigued by this piece of software right here. It's called Data Edition, and it either was inspired by or derived by some IBM mainframe software, because any of the reviews that you read, they often talk about this stuff. And just a couple of reasons is Sergio did send me a version 2.0 of Data Edition and the plans edition that goes with it. But those have the much smaller binder. This is the traditional size, that usually when you get the software, it's in this width binder. But if you look at, Data Edition, it's much, wider in that sense. The three things that I have, Data Edition is the base. You can't use any other module unless you have Data Edition. And when I think about, looking at the documentation, I actually unwrapped this and, went through it before I started the Unwrapped Legacy Media and Computers channel. It has all that documentation. It's pretty thick. And then it has quite a bit of, quite a number of discs. I think maybe 6. No, actually it's only got 3. Okay, well, that's all right. I thought there was more than that. Hopefully I didn't misplace any. And then of course IBM included this read this first book, which kind of goes through and explains everything we need. Of course, we need DOS installed. These were highly serialized products and very expensive products from IBM. Just very neat stuff, I thought. And for this episode of Unwrapped, we're going to try installing this thing. So I'm just going to read you a blurb from page 3. It says, the program you've purchased is part of the IBM Personal Decision Series, a set of productivity programs that can help you manage information, and the series consists of 6 programs. Data Edition, which is the base, Reports Plus, Graphs, Plans, Plans Plus, and Words Edition. I have Words and Plans Plus. And then it continues, these programs work together to help you create customized reports, graphs, spreadsheets, correspondence, and other business documents. Because the programs were designed to work with each other, information flows naturally between them when required. So if you need more information management help than the Personal Decision Series programs you now have offer, consider the entire series and may provide the total solution you need. The Data Edition is a prerequisite to all other members of the Personal Decision Series. Along with Data, you can select any or all of the other members to meet your productivity needs. Each program in the Personal Decision Series, or PDS from this point on, comes with a tutorial and complete reference material to help you learn and use it. Thus, the Encyclopedia Galactica over there of documentation. For additional training needs, a computer-based training module called Data Training Edition is available. This module provides friendly interactive training on the Data Edition, and it runs on your IBM personal computer. Additional advanced training on Data and Reports Editions and how to use them together is provided in a separate book called Advisor, and of course all these products are available through your dealer. In the years that I have been surfing on eBay, it took quite a while to find Data Edition, and even longer to find Plans Edition or Words Edition. And then actually it says, talks about the IBM Business Management Series is a set of 6 business application programs, general ledger, accounts payable, payroll, order entry and invoicing, inventory accounting, and accounts receivable. And I did not get this one off from Computer Reset. I got it off of eBay, but I think I ended up getting the General Ledger Edition, and I'm also in the middle of a move, so that ended up getting packed, and it's in a moving box somewhere right now, and we will do an episode on that when we can. Okay, so there's nothing else in here about installing this software, so I guess we'll put that back. How did it say? So there's a page here. Oops. Uh-oh. Don't want to rip it. Oh, too late. I kind of tore it. So what do we do first? It says we registered it. Well, let's pretend we did. Read program specifications, install Data, and learn about Data. But interesting, to install Data, follow the instructions in Appendix A in the Data book. I do think that's kind of mysterious, because usually when you install a piece of software, right, it's probably going to be the first chapter or a preface. It's not going to get stuffed in an appendix somewhere. So it is in an appendix. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's look at that. So Appendix A, installing PDS Data. The appendix explains how to install Data on your IBM personal computer. I'm going to refocus on the screen so you can actually see as I'm going along. And once you've installed Data, you can install the Data Online tutorial. And if you got any problems, okay. First, you'll make copies of your master diskettes. Yep. Well, of course, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that or not, but we're certainly gonna try. I'm not 100% sure what I've got in the spare floppy disk. See if I can even do it or not. But if I can, I will make some backup copies of our discs here, hopefully. Maybe. Of course, I don't have any disc labels anymore, so we'll get some coming. Alright, so need to make backup copies of our PDS data disks. That won't be a big deal. I'm just trying to put some stuff away as we get ready for this. Alright. One of the things they're going to do just to get ready is we're going to go to the DOS directory. We're going to format the disks. Hopefully format as quick as we can. There won't be any bad sectors. And if you've stuck with me this far and are kind of putting up with the tedium of formatting disks and watching me back them up before we actually get to installing the software, thank you. Please do me a favor, click the subscribe button, click the bell, share it on your Facebook page, annoy your friends with it. Post in the comments, what do you like to see? What do you not like to see? Is there any particular old IBM software or old DOS software, for that matter, that you'd like me to see if I can get my hands on and do an unwrap and a demo on this 5150? Some bad sectors, although these generic floppy disks that I've picked up from some friends on the Vintage Computer Forum, sometimes if I format them a couple of times, it's usually not a problem. The bad sectors end up clearing up. I did have a couple of boxes of the IBM branded 5 1/4 inch floppies, of course, which I can only find one right now. I did find a gentleman over in Egypt who has quite a supply of these floppy disks, but for right now, just a little bit too expensive for my liking. It's almost $30 a box shipped, and I get it. Those of you who are watching this might think that's a steal, especially as the supply of new old stock floppies dries up. So, hey, if that price is good for you, by all means, you can look for him on eBay. Just search for IBM DSDD NOS 5.25, and he'll show up in the first page of results. Actually, if I can't get these last 5K of bad sectors off the disc, I'll use the IBM branded discs. The last time I was here, isn't that interesting? It must have heard me, right? It must have heard me. Alright, there's disk 1 for backup. Let's format disk 2. So while we're waiting, let's just take a look on the back. Software required DOS 2 or 2.1 as a minimum. It includes 3 diskettes, so I guess I am not missing any. 80 character display, 256K of RAM, 2 double-sided disk drives or 1 disk drive and a fixed disk. It recommends a printer, optional color / graphics monitor adapter. Of course we have color monitor. We do technically have the modem and the expansion unit, which is the voice processing card. One of the things that I'm looking for that is I ended up getting the bare bones card off of eBay. A fellow member in Vintage Computer Federation forums was able to get me essentially it's the driver and the diagnostic disc that make the card work. But I just haven't brought the software that uses the card. There's some really cool software, I think, for the 80s. It essentially turns the PC into a sophisticated answering machine, you know, mailboxes and custom messages, and I think that's neat stuff. So we're formatting the 3rd disk. We'll do our disk backups and then we'll do the installs. Okay, we've got our 3 blank discs now. Okay. I'm going to use the Read This First book as a bookmark. And all right. Sometimes I forget parameters from newer versions of the DOS do not work on DOS 2.1, and the /v is just to make sure it verifies the copy. There's another YouTuber, Dave Plummer, who's a retired Microsoft software engineer. And to quote Dave, he says he's from the DOS and Windows 95 days. And I think he had mentioned that he did some work on disk copy later on where he could use the actual RAM to do the whole disk at once versus have the disk do a couple of tracks at a time. Because on a single disk system, having to swap 4 or 5 times, even though your computer had sufficient memory, was pretty tedious. Okay, copy complete. Yippee skippy. I'm curious, what do you use for labeling your floppy disk solutions? Do you use, I've heard people use labels for manila hanging file folders. Some people use Dymo labels. Some people use Brother P-Touch labels. I'm a partial fan for filing folder labels for 5 1/4 inch. And Brother P-Touch labels, especially black on clear for the 3 1/2 inch. All right. And last one. Might have to copy this again. Or better yet, I'm gonna have to use a different floppy disk. Another topic of discussion, with the exception of maybe IBM branded and manufactured disks, what floppy disk brands have you had success with? I'll tell you one thing. It says when I originally got this system, before I even got the IBM branded disks, I got this really old box of 3M, double-sided, you know, from a store called Ellis in Chico in Reading. $23.95 way back when for a box of 10. And I've been using these for the 5+ years that I've had this. Never a problem, never a failure. Same thing with the IBM discs. Please post in the comments. Boy, always trouble with these. I feel like Mike MJD, and we got these great plans for wonderful videos, and then some sort of malfunction. Well, not wanting to waste any more of your time and mine, we're just going to make one more attempt. One more attempt here. We're going to use an IBM disc. Once I get more IBM discs, I'm going to go through and make a whole slew of backup copies. Properly labeled, can work off the backups and keep the masters stored somewhere. Great, no problems at all. So as I'm reading the instructions here, and I never thought of this, at least I haven't thought of it in a long time. It says, hold down the control key and press the print screen key, and it says it recommends this in order to keep a record of the installation process as you're going along. If my IBM graphics printer was not malfunctioning, apparently when you turn it on, there's a single loud continuous tone. That never quits, and just haven't really able to get into troubleshooting that. So we're going to skip holding down the control key to print, insert the Data 1 backup disk, and one thing that it wants me to do is it wants me to have a copy of basica.com in the root of C. So we're going to do that. And let's begin the installation process. Okay, so we're going to say install CF. Okay. Inserting disc 2. Well, I was hoping we would squeeze this within 30 minutes. Okay. Third disc, then we'll launch this thing. Okay. So installation is complete. The instructions say Control-Alt-Delete to apply the changes. Well, here it is. Let's see, F9, F10. Well, let's see if we can do something with this. Boy, it really does operate like a mainframe. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. I guess we're going to actually have to read through the documentation. Please don't mind the silence of just kind of going through and trying to figure out what exactly does it want me to do here. Yep, new file definition. Right. Well, we're going to cancel and call it a night, folks, and I appreciate you taking the time to stay with me this far and look at turning our personal computer into a mainframe. So, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned, post comments. I do appreciate everybody's feedback. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.